Hi everyone, welcome to the Nurse Rupi vlog. My name is Rupinder Sandhu. I'm a registered nurse with a background in nephrology nursing. I reside in Manitoba, Canada, a province that has a disproportionately high Indigenous patient population for nephrology care. Today's presentation is titled, Who Decides What is Safe? A question that sits at the heart of the work that I do as a nurse. In this presentation, I am excited to share an old but very relevant interview I had over lunch with influential nurse theorist Irihapeti Ramsden. Her concept of cultural safety invites us as nurses to critically reflect on our own practice and the structures that we work within. Unlike cultural competence, which often focuses on the nurse's learning, cultural safety asks us to examine power dynamics, racism, and the lived experiences of patients, particularly Indigenous peoples. This isn't just a theoretical conversation, it's one that's rooted in real harm, including the devastating and preventable death of Brian Sinclair and the ongoing need to uphold Jordan's principle. Today, I invite you to consider, what does it mean to offer care that is not only critically sound, but culturally safe? And more importantly, who gets to decide that? Hi, here you'll see a picture of me on the right. I am a nurse who has 20 years of experience. I have been an educator. I am a baccalaureate prepared nurse who is currently undergoing her master's, and I have served on lots of advocacy committees, which means I am passionate about healthcare equity and relational ethics in practice. This is the picture of Dr. Irihapeti Ramsden. She was a Maori nurse, an educator, and an anthropologist from New Zealand who developed the concept of cultural safety in the 1990s. She argued that only the patient can define whether the care is culturally safe. Her work was transformative for nursing curricula and policy change. I'll invite you to the scene where I interviewed Dr. Ramsden. The wind carried the scent of the summer grass and the slow rhythm of the Red River winding past the hospital where patients like Brian Sinclair were once invisible. From where we sat, we could see the hospital where I worked. I thought of how Ramsden introduced the concept of cultural safety in the 1990s, but systemic inequities continued to still shape the care at the hospital where I worked. I thought of Indigenous renal patients displaced from their homelands, travelling hours to the city, not their home, just to access life-sustaining dialysis. I saw this dislocation as a matter of not personal choice, but a symptom of healthcare disparities. A lack of infrastructure in remote and rural areas leading to a cultural disconnection. As I sat with the nursing students and Dr. Ramsden, we sipped on chai tea, an echo of my British and East Indian roots, a gentle reminder of colonized trade routes. I deeply realized how culture, geography, history all intersect in the delivery of care. Here we were, two nurses from two different lands, but one shared truth, that care without culture is incomplete. I began to ask her 5 questions pertaining to her cultural safety framework. Question 1. How do I hold space for grief and responsibility as a nurse working in a system that has harmed Indigenous patients? Question 2. How could I respond ethically when I witnessed culturally unsafe care, especially when the systems rewarded silence? 3. How can I mentor new nurses in cultural safety when the system hasn't fully embraced it? Question 4. What was the deeper purpose behind cultural safety, and what did you hope it would change in nursing? I asked her, what's the key takeaway for nursing students today? She said, stop, self-reflect, listen, be humble, be accountable. Know that the stories that you listen to might not be your own, but make space for them. Change is possible. I've seen it. Jordan's principle was named after Jordan Anderson, a First Nations child from Norway House in Manitoba. He spent his entire life in hospital because 2 federal and provincial governments could not agree on who to pay for his home care. He died waiting. Advocacy resulted in Jordan's principle. Today, Jordan's principle is a legal obligation that ensures that First Nations children receive the care and services they need without delay.